Welcome back everybody. What I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be taking you on the journey with me to walk the East Highland Way. So yeah, first part of my journey is going to be on the train.
The East Highland Way is an unofficial 82-mile route running across the Highlands. It starts in Fort William and ends in Aviemore, connecting the West Highland Way with the Speyside Way. It's a relatively new route devised by Kevin Langan in 2007. It consists of varied terrain from footpaths to woodland trails to moorland, and it's got some amazing scenery on the route.
So good morning guys, it's 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. It's February, funny enough, it's peeing it down with rain. It's in Scotland. You know, what do I expect? But here I am on the start line. So, the official start of the West Highland Way. But I'm going to flip that 180 because I'm going that way on the East Highland Way. What I'm not going to do is get that Webster's picture or bit of footage set next to this guy, because that's just cheesy as you like. And yeah, here we go. Not a soul in sight, apart from the sensible ones having their breakfast in Wetherspoons. 82 miles. Let's do it. So the plan for this then is I want to get the distance done, the 82 miles, in 6 days. And as you can see, I'm carrying everything on my back that I need for the 6 days. So I've got all my food, water, tent, sleeping bag and everything else with me, and I'll be wild camping the entire way. Oh, other than one stop. So I'm going to be doing a bit of an R&R stop in the middle of the route on night 3, and part of the reason for that, apart from to get a bit of a rest, is just to charge all my gear, because you know this video won't be able to be made unless I have the option of being able to charge all my kit back up. I have got 5 batteries for my GoPro, but especially in cold conditions they wear out pretty quick. Anyway, I'll stop waffling now and crack on with the route. See you in a bit. Alright, big man. Should be a bit chilly in that skirt, eh? A war monument, lest we forget. Distillery guest house. No vacancies. There's a surprise. So here's the Alcan factory where they smelt aluminium. Maybe this is where Goldmember had his unfortunate smelting incident. You see the pipes going up the side of that massive feature there. So a few k's in now, the rain's started to subside a little bit. It's still coming down, but it's a bit better than what it was. Nice little bridge here, spanning this river. Nice views there. Check that out. Little waterfalls at the top there. There's a pool down there, look at that. Now at the North Face car park then. So no, it's not sponsored by North Face. There's not a Berghaus car park either. This is for those that don't know, it's for approaching the North Face of Ben Nevis, which is the highest point in the UK. So as it shows there, This is where we are. Route goes up like so, and there's Ben Nevis just there, 1,344 metres. Most people take the tourist route, which goes out from here, and as you can see it just zigzags all the way up. Really boring, you can't see anything of the actual hill because you're just facing into like a big steep thing in front of you. Whereas if you go up from the north face, up this way, you go up the opposite feature and then you actually climb up an arete. So you can go up obviously from this way, or the way I've been up before is actually up this feature here, Cambiag, I don't know how to pronounce that, but I've been up it. And then you actually go around an arete, which is a really steep feature, around this way and climb up here. It's a very challenging route for anyone that does fancy trying that. You do need to make sure you're properly equipped, you know how to navigate, and you check the weather conditions, and you've got safety procedures in place. Some of that stuff is actually noted here, but very important to follow those kind of procedures and those considerations. So I'm going to crack on again and make my way to my next stop. So the weather's started to clear a little bit. It's only raining slightly now, but what's nice to see is that it's starting to open up a bit. You can see some of the big features there over to the south there, to the southeast. Awesome to see that. Okay then, so just a quick word on the route here. It's not signposted much at all, at least on the section I've been on so far on day one. There's virtually no signpost, so you do have to navigate. So I've just been walking down this track here, and that track, if you was just to stay on it and walk straight back up and go along to the right there on the main part of the track, you wouldn't be going the right way. Kind of hidden away behind some of this foliage here, you see you've got the gate there. That's the correct way to go. So if I just show you on the map then. Okay, so on the map we're at this grid here, and the main track goes off around like this up into the trees, but the way that you want to be going is straight on through that gate, which is that one over there. So you're going to go straight along this one here, which is a much less sort of marked route. So I'm currently at the Commando Memorial at Speenbridge. Now what I find quite strange and a bit of a shame really is in most of the videos, the ones I've watched anyway, about the East Highland Way, nobody even mentions the Commando Memorial here, and that's a real shame. You know, these guys went the extra mile for their country. They're all volunteers, incredibly brave men, and you know, the elite of our country at the time, and yet it seems to get missed out because you have to go literally an extra mile. You have to go that extra mile physically to get to this memorial, because that's how far it is off the route, and it's up a big bastard of a hill. But you know what, these guys went up and down big bastards of hill every day during the training, and this is the memorial here, as it says there, in memory of the officers and men of the commandos who died in the Second World War, 39 to 45. This country was their training ground. What an amazing memorial that is. Get out the wind. To anyone watching this who thinks, oh Tom, you know, you're fawning over the commandos a bit there. The first commandos were actually army, for those that you don't know, and the first, like the foundation of the parachute regiment came from the commandos. Number 2 commando was the first airborne unit that we had in the British Armed Forces. They went on to form 11 SAS, and then they became 1st Parachute Battalion, which became 1 para. So just to put you straight there, a little bit of history. But as it says there on the memorial, this was their training ground, and you can just imagine how tough that was, looking around here. So you can see the main memorials behind me now. I'm actually over a garden for tributes, which is quite nice because people can leave their own like personal tributes and stuff now. So that's a little plaque there. And then what we've got here is all personal tributes from the different commando units as well, so right up to the present day. So you've got commando gunners there, one for 4-2 commando for Operation Herrick 14, and I was on the one before that, so just after me. All sorts of personalised stuff there. Falkland Islands there from the CO SBS. I'm guessing that's an old wartime commando there. Another SBS brief. So just one last thing I'll say whilst I'm at this memorial, just want to mention a friend of mine sadly took his own life recently, Lee Revel, who was a Royal Marine Commando, and you know, sadly he died. He took his own life very recently. So whilst I'm here, just a bit of a personal thing, just thinking of you, mate. Rest in peace. So I've been walking all day, nearly finished the first day. I've only got a couple of k's left to go now to the place where I'm going to stop, and for the first time just seen an East Highland Way sign. So that's the first marker I've seen. I think I've covered something like 24k so far, something like that. So bonkers, you need to keep your eye open. I mean, you know, I was just walking down this route here from over that bridge, and the road carries on as if it's going to go that way, and at first glance this way looks like it's going to be just on the farmers' fields, but if you have a little bit look closer, yeah, it's got that route marker on, so definitely one to keep your eye out for. Now, check out this bunch of horny mofos. Yeah, dudes, how's it going? Alright, don't like that. Screw the nut. It's something I said. You got curly ones, haven't you, mate? Some styling going on. Okay, so I'm at my overnight stop point now. I've reached my target for today. I wanted to cover about 27 k's, which I did, plus there's about another 3 k's for that Commando Memorial. So what I've done is got myself off the high ground there, and got myself tucked into a nice little spot here. And it's got an amazing view actually, overlooking these waterfalls here. So check that out. So a little bit noisy, but you know, I'm next to a river, the whole thing's making a lot of noise anyway. And what I want to do is get my campsite set up, my tent set up, because the light's starting to go now, so I'll get on with that. So that's tent set up for the night, good to go. Now next order of the day is crack on with a bit of admin, so sort my feet out, change my socks, powder them, and get some scoff on, and yeah, chill out for the evening and just enjoy the peacefulness out here. So what's for scoff this evening? We have got Asian noodles with chicken and mixed vegetables. And to be fair, it's not bad. It's, there's quite a bit of food in there, and but obviously it needs the added special sauce, didn't it? Don't know. Bit of that in there. Good to go. Morning campers. Well, had a bit of a stormy night last night. It was absolutely blowing a gale, hammering down with rain, but didn't have too much of a bad night's sleep really. You know, I got woke up a little bit by the noise and stuff, but yeah, nice and toasty in my little humble abode here. A few people have already been asking me about this tent. So this is the Nordisk Telemark 2. There's the logo there. Lightweight. Now it's not a cheap tent. I think it's like in the region of 500 quid or something, so it's expensive. Really lightweight though. It's I think it's just under a kilo, and it packs down mega small. So when I get this down, I'll show you the pack size in a minute. So it's great for pack size and the weight. There's a couple of sort of little issues I've got with it, but it's really good. It's not, I was really toasty in there last night, and yeah, it was really bad conditions. But anyway, going back onto the scenery and stuff, check this out down here. Mega waterfalls. Look how much water's flowing through that too. So nice scenery as well. The noise of that I kind of just got used to. You know, after you've been there for a little while, you kind of tune into your environment, don't you? And I just zoned out to it and just managed to sleep quite well. So I'm not going to have any breakfast before I set off because I'm absolutely not hungry at all. I'm going to basically get on the road, do a couple of Ks and then stop for breakfast, because I'm actually still full up from that big meal I had last night, to be fair. And I don't want to just force food down my neck for the sake of it, but obviously I need the fuel. So I'm just going to stop when I feel like it in a couple of Ks, just want to get on the road first. So get this tent down and I will catch you guys in a little while. So this is Achnacochin, and anyone that wants to correct me on my pronunciation, please do so. I don't know if I've done a good job of that or not. Anyway, this was a place many years ago that cattle rustlers used to come and RV before moving on. You can see that quite a bit of the ruins are still left over. This is a couple of occasions my route this morning, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stop here and get a brew on and get the scoff on. So for breakfast I'm having something out of the American MREs. It's instant oatmeal with strawberries and cream. So Ivar over in Alaska gave me some MREs when I was over there, so thanks for that, Ivar. I'll see what these are like in a minute, and I'll either be saying thanks or I'll be cursing you. Alright, cheers mate. Yeah, it's not bad. Cheers, Ivar. Thanks, mate. So I'm moving off from this area now, from these ruins, and obviously, like anywhere else, before I go, always a good idea to check the area you've been in to make sure you've left nothing, no trace that you've been there. Really important, that one. Yeah, good trail, isn't it? Okay, back on the trail. So then, this is going to be my first proper river crossing since started the route. What I'm going to do is I planned for this, because I did my research and I know that there's a few river crossings. I've got these booty things. They're like the sort of thing that you use for water sports and stuff, so that I don't get my boots absolutely sopping wet for the rest of the route. Obviously I've still got a long way to go yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my footwear, I'm going to hang my boots around my neck, and I'm going to cross this very carefully using my poles. And I'll also only have my rucksack over one shoulder just in case I take a bit of a fall. So just putting those safety things in place there. Quite obviously I won't be able to film this because I'm going to have my hands busy, but we'll see how I get on. Oh, that's fresh. Whoa, yeah, hold that. So just climbed up a fairly steep gradient there, and now moving into this forested area, which is quite nice. Loads of mega basher trees over that way. And it's quite misty today, as you can see, but it's dry, so that's mega. Okay, so now I'm at a place called Invela Lodge. That's this big house in front of me here. Now, during the Second World War, this was used to train SOE operatives, that's a Special Operations Executive. Now, these incredibly brave men and women trained here doing unarmed combat, communications, explosives, demolitions, that sort of stuff, before they were then parachuted into places like France, Yugoslavia, and places like that, and Greece. So, pretty amazing place. Also, this is where Rudolf Hess was imprisoned after he landed in Scotland, and was apparently sent over to try and sign a peace treaty with the Brits, but that didn't work out for him, and he ended up imprisoned here, and no doubt being questioned quite heavily before he was sent off to a proper jail. One of the great things about this route then is how quiet it is. So it's not like the West Highland Way, which is obviously really well known. This isn't really very well known at all. So you don't see very many people. It's really quiet, which is lovely, I mean, you get to appreciate nature a bit more because there's less people messing it up. Like today, I've seen 4 people. I've seen 2 other people walking the route, same as me. I've seen a guy out going for a run, and I've seen a woman near one of the villages that I passed through walking a dog. That's it. So if you enjoy a bit of peace and quiet and enjoying nature as it should be, i.e. quiet, that idiot's ruining it, and the noise and rubbish and stuff, then this is one for you, I think. It's a good little route. Morning everyone, it's early morning, day 3. Last night I didn't film anything coming into my campsite because it was just getting dark. It was raining, I need to get the tent up, so I couldn't mess around with the camera. So I'm camped up here. I'm on the west end of Loch Lagan, and I'm just walking towards the edge a little bit now. Pretty amazing views, I think. So the hills up to the south there, a mist on them. And the lock itself there, with the hills framing it on the other side too. So quite amazing scenery. And there's my tent back over there. So I'm going to replay my water, get my scoff on, have a brew, and then get back on the trail. Bit of sausage and beans for breakfast, and some 3-in-1 coffee. And then, you know, the obvious. It's the law. Day 3 then. So had a pretty good sleep last night, good rest, and things are looking up, because, well, dare I say it, it's starting to brighten up a little bit. Probably not for much longer, but it's actually not raining for once. So yeah, things are looking up. Got a fairly long day today. Got about 18 miles to do, so yeah, let's get cracking on. Okay, just a little note here about the route. So I've just come up from this track here, and if you was to just follow the main track, which kind of goes off to the left there, you'd be going the wrong way. And now there is a track junction here, but if you have a look, it's much more of a minor track, and it seems more obvious to follow this one. Now, if you have a look at the map here, we're currently at this grid here, which is around about what, 497870, and if you're to follow on, you'd be going down this one, but actually you want to be taking the one that goes up the hill like this. Okay, so like I say, just a reminder there that don't just follow your nose and think you're going the right way. There's virtually no route markers on this route. I've only seen about 3 or 4 so far, not many anyway. So you need to be on top of your navigation and make sure you know where you are at all times, and just be able to read a map. Yeah, don't just think you're just going to follow a track and pick the most obvious route, because the most obvious route might not be the right one. Okay, let's crack on then. Check that view out. So it's just getting dark now. It's about 6:15 in the evening, and I'm just getting up to my overnight stop. So remember I was saying at the start of the video, I've got one night in a B&B. Well, this is it. So about halfway through my route. Give me a chance to charge up all my electricals, and obviously get a decent night's sleep in a bed as well, and dry my kit off. So I'm quite looking forward to that. So a bit of a different end to the day today, in luxury basically, staying in a B&B. Really nice place. I'll put a link into where I'm staying in the description below. So just a couple of points from today then. That was a really tough day actually. Covered about 18 miles today, and all up over 3 days. I've covered around, well, it's about 80 Ks all up. So a fair old distance to be covering in 3 days, especially when you're carrying everything on your back. And just a bit of a backstory, anyone that doesn't know, anyone that does know knows this, but a bit of a backstory. I broke my leg really badly in 2017, done my femur, and I was on crutches for 2 years. So I'm still not 100% recovered from that. I'm not after a sob story. This isn't a sob story. It's just putting things into perspective. This is a real challenge for me doing this sort of thing. So getting out on the hills, yeah, it's okay for a day, but when you're doing long distances like what I have been here, it is a definite challenge. And I'll put a picture up to what I did. If anyone doesn't like that sort of thing, look away now for the next couple of seconds, of my x-ray of my leg, what happened to the inside of my femur after I had a parachuting accident. Anyway, just a couple of points then from today. Definitely you need to be able to navigate. There was very few signs yet again. I only saw I don't know how many, just about 3 or 4 signs in a space of that 18 miles. So they're very sparsely put out. And I was quite surprised actually that some of the signs that were out there weren't at the places where they really needed to be, because if you just cracked on the obvious route, then you would have missed the route, you would have gone off route. And I have absolutely no doubt that happens to quite a lot of people. So you need to be able to be 100% happy with the route, and also be able to know how to navigate, using a map. Maybe you can back that up with electronic devices. That's what I was doing today. But make sure you know how to navigate using a map, because if you're just following the guidebook, or if you're just using something on your phone and your phone runs out of power, you're knackered, aren't you? Personally, what I was doing was using a map, and any time I just wanted to 100% check something, I just bring up a grid reference on, a phone, my watch, whatever, just to confirm stuff. But I was happy where I was all the time, and I never went off route at all. Having watched a couple of videos on this route of other people that have done this, I did that for my own research. It seems like all of them have gone off route, and that's just what they've admitted to. So yeah, just be careful, because it's not obvious. Some of those junctions and stuff, you need to be careful. And I did highlight that once or twice on my route, but not every time, because you get bored of it. Anyway, looking forward to a good night's sleep tonight, and I'm going to crack on with the route in the morning. And this takes me out onto the moors tomorrow, and it's going to be wet out there. We've got snow forecast, and it's apparently meant to be down to about -2 Celsius. So yeah, it's going to be a very different day from what I had today. The conditions were really good today. I was actually down to my t-shirt quite a bit of the route, whereas tomorrow I know I'm going to be a lot colder. So that brings on its own challenges too. So look forward to it, and I'll see you there.